There are many things on this planet that make life really hard. There is disease, there is death, there are wars, there is conflict. The world used to be a far more cruel and harsh place thousands of years back, where people were kept as captives or slaves or traded as slaves. There used to be a lot of wars. Wars haven't ceased today, but in most developed countries in the world, there is a certain level of luxury and comfort that people have acquired. People used to die of hunger earlier, but now it seems like people are dying due to overeating. What can we really learn from this? I guess we can say that solving problems in the outer world doesn't really fix the problems in the inner world. My name's Kunal and my channel is called Conversation Corner. I make these videos to help you realize that the words we use have an influence on our thoughts, which have an influence on our actions. We all grew up in schools. Most of us who were part of the school system at some point in time must have heard some nonsense about world peace, right? That if we do so and so, we will ensure world peace. If we do so and so, we will ensure world peace. Love, harmony, all that blah 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 blah. But no one really got to the root of understanding, and I hope this video that I share with you helps you understand why economics failed to unite us, why religion failed to bring peace, and why love may not be the answer. The planet we live on has limited resources. There aren't unlimited resources for all of us, right? There are only so many trees in the world. There is only so much coal that we can extract, and there is only so much petroleum that there is. And as humans, as a species, all we do is we keep reproducing, we spread, and we consume the resources. And we consume the resources at a rate much faster than they can be replenished. And we cause a lot of pollution. So, why are we not surprised that the world is in chaos and it is the way it is? Well, in my opinion, the reason things are messed up is we are never really taught about the self or who we are. And when we're not taught about who we are and what our essence is, our identity remains limited to our mind, body, and our senses. So, someone is identified with his nation, someone's identified with his culture, someone is identified with being only human, right? So, this gives rise to nationalistic hubris, which caused the world wars. This gives rise to speciesism, which makes it acceptable to have these farms where animals are treated unethically and they live in very harsh or cruel conditions. And someone might even object to the word harsh and cruel conditions because they may believe that animals are just livestock and hence they don't have such rights. But fortunately, the world did make some progress and we did realize that they're not just merely livestock, they have to get some level of proper treatment. So, although a lot of effort is being made on the outside with reforms and laws, things don't really change because at the end of the day, we are putting the horse before the cart. If we don't wake up to realize that as human beings, our privilege is our language, our imagination, and our intelligence, we're going to ensure that we destroy ourselves as a race. When we don't realize that the privilege of being a human is your speech, your imagination, and your intelligence, you function as worse than an animal, right? An animal only consumes that which is necessary, but a human in the animalistic self really destroys the world. That's where you get the horror of the concentration camps, that's where you get the horror of the Khmer Rouge, that's where you get the horror of USSR, under which a lot of people died due to famine. So, when we don't wake up to the essence of who we are as human beings, and when we fail to see that what we call as our consciousness is the consciousness of humanity, we act in very limited ways, which ultimately not only harms us but our society. At some point in time, we have to find a solution that is optimal, a way of living that not only fosters the well being of the society but of the individual too. That not only fosters the well being of the individual but of the society too. And the way we are conducting our lives these days makes us live in this world where it's always us against the world or the world against us. And when that mindset is absorbed by the entirety of humanity, then you have nations at war. Then you have financial interests lobbying with the government to get their way. And then you have the corporations corrupting the river streams with their pollution. It's been very hard for most of human history. We know of great people like Plato, Aristotle, or Jesus, and although they have been shining examples of the best that there is in humanity, we've yet to see a total transformation. People often say that history repeats itself, but I'm not entirely sure of that. Yes, there are cycles of history that have similitude, but a lot of events do happen for the first time, such as going to the moon or landing on Mars. And all that represents a new frontier in human exploration. Yes, it is true that the world has not changed insofar as the psyche of man. The same greed, envy, and impatience that was there a couple of thousand years ago still exists today, albeit in a different form. And the way forward for our species is to find a way to integrate universal consciousness and individual consciousness so that we can live in harmony. Until and unless we achieve this, we are always going to live in a divided world.